Hi, I'm Anna, a textile and knitwear designer based in Hamburg, Germany. I completed my master's in textile design, where I discovered my love for bold and colorful patterns and where I focused on eco-friendly materials and on sustainable textiles. My work is all about color, shape, and material, and how they interact. I usually begin with playful studies of different knitting techniques and material connections, and then come up with a product or an application to make these textile experiments wearable. Last year I spent 2 months in 8B, where I was searching for local wool and did some natural dyeing with local plants. This project ties in my research and experiments from last year very well. I decided to create a vest because I liked that it is unisex, can be worn by people of all ages, and can easily be transformed into a pullover or a cardigan by simply adding sleeves. So for me, it operates more as a display to show variety in thickness and different structures, as well as color play with the technique knitting. My first item is an intarsia knit slipover with a classic shape. It is inspired by a day I spent at Husemann, which is very beautiful but also a very good place to collect dye plants. The motif is inspired by the moment when I arrived and looked both to the right and then to the left side. So I captured that moment and then reproduced it into a more abstract way by using hand-cut paper cut-offs. You can find 10 different color nuances in this vest dyed with plants collected on the spot. For example, the light pink is dyed with pine needles, the ochre hills are made with heather, and by using the heather dye bath a second time you create a light yellow. I used common broom to make the green shapes, and for the sea part I dyed yarn with broom as well, and then dyed it again with birch bark to get some kind of olive brown shade. You can also spot some shapes of undyed wool in white and light grey. A special design feature is the big circle on both sides, which is like to make a spotlight on this particular place. It is created by using one white and one light grey wool as a base material. When dyeing both yarns in one dye pot, the light grey base yarn results into a slightly darker shade. The second vest is also inspired by Husemann. It's made from a blend of wool and mohair with a unique surface. It's quite thick, knitted in a two-color pattern, a technique called Brioche, that creates a three-dimensional structure. The vertical lines remind of the path on the dunes while walking along the sea. It is knitted seamless and therefore it's fully reversible. Both sides are different with some kind of positive-negative effect. There's one side where the undyed grey yarn is more visible and one with a fade from ochre to light yellow. It's dyed with heather as well. The idea is to play with the intensity of the dye bath. The fade is created by dyeing with the same dye bath again and again. The color slightly changes and gets lighter every time. You'd be surprised how much pigment remains in a dye bath until it's exhausted. My third garment is highly inspired by a small path I found in Odsherred while looking for dye plants. It is like walking through a tunnel out of branches and leaves that are throwing magical shadows and lights while you pass. I transformed the impressions into a grid with black and white pixel. Then these pixels were punched into a punch card for my knitting machine, and the electric carriage transformed these pixels into knit and purl stitches. This results into a structure consisting of vertical and horizontal ribs. The yarn is dyed with rosehip, both berries and branches, that can be found along the path. It creates a peachy pink with whom I also dyed some matching birchwood buttons. I then dyed it again with leftover avocado pits to bring out the shade more intense. This garment has a feminine shape, more like a top. It's knitted in a blend of wool, alpaca and nettle fiber and therefore suitable for warmer days as well. On one side there's a deeper V-neck with a button placket, and on the other side there's a higher round neck. You can play with the necklines by deciding whether you want to wear the buttons on the front or the back. By adding multifunctional features like reversibility or different necklines and closures, the garment becomes transformable and therefore the lifespan can be extended. In addition to the choice of local and eco-friendly materials, this is a smart way to include sustainability into the design process. Thank you, bye!